All right, habit 5, seek first to understand, then be understood. I want to share with you a true story. We went to Littleton, Colorado, and we had a workshop there. And there was a woman who was in the workshop, and when she got back home, she wrote us a letter. And she said, I have a 10-year-old daughter named Jessie, and it's Jessie's job to do the dishes every night. And I sit out in the living room and read a magazine while she does the dishes sometimes. And she's in there banging pots and slamming doors and knocking things around. Every night she's slamming and knocking. And I just think, no, I'm not going in there. This girl's got to learn how to work. But she said, after I took this course, I thought, maybe I ought to listen to Jessie. So Sunday night, she was in there banging doors and angry and stomping around. I went in. I put my arm around her. I said, Jessie, is there anything you'd like to talk to me about? And she said, boy, did I learn a heap. That's how she put it. And it had nothing to do with the dishes. So what happened? What happened?
She went her frustrations out on the dishes.
Pardon?
Maybe she was taking her frustrations out on the dishes.
Yeah. Yeah. And she listened, didn't she? Instead of just assuming she knew what was going on with Jessie, that she didn't want to work, she was lazy or didn't want to work, she listened. She asked her. Okay. We're going to play a little game here. It's going to be fun. Turn to page 32. You need a pen for this, page 32. Now, this is how we're going to do it. We do this individually. I'm going to give you a word. And when I give you that word, I want you with just free association to write down every single thing that comes to your mind when I say this word. I'm going to give you 30 seconds just to write like crazy everything that comes to your mind. All right? The word is family. Go. Okay, stop. Pens up. Now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to share at your table what you wrote. Everybody read what they wrote, and then here's the thing. I want you to see how many times all 4 of you wrote down the exact same word. Not 3 out of 4, 4 out of 4. Okay, go. Start to compare. Okay, can I have you back? Now, how many of you at your table wrote the same word 5 times? All 5 of you. Okay. Okay. All right. How about?
Yeah, we all have love.
Okay, but you did it one time. One time. How many of you wrote the same word down 5 times? All right. Maybe I'm not making this too clear. All right. 4 times you got the same word. 3, 2, 1. 2 you did? Oh, that was good. 2, 1. All of you? 0. Okay, most people get 0. All right. Yeah, most people get 0. All right. All right, now you know how to do it. Now you're good at it. Now I'm going to give you another word. We're going to try it again.
Same box.
Oh, they are? Okay, sometimes that makes it worse. All right, now, here's the new word. Write down everything you can, 30 seconds that relates to that word, and then compare. We'll see how many times you all write the same word. The new word is love. Go. Okay, pens up. Stop. All right, now compare at your table and see how many times all 5 of you or all 4 of you wrote the exact same word. Go. Okay, start to compare. All right. All right. How many of you at your table, each of you wrote the same word down 5 times? 4, 3. All 4 of you wrote the same word? Oh, okay. Oh, it has to be all 5. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 1. So you're good over there. 0. 0. Okay. Now, most people get 0. Why would we use this little exercise to introduce the idea of, in a family, listen first, talk second? How would this possibly relate to that?
Everyone has different views.
Everyone has different views. Exactly. Is that what you were going to say? Do we come into families with different views? Do we come into marriage with different views? We do. And as John says, the problem isn't that we see things differently in families. The problem is that we think we know how the other person sees things, and we don't. Hence, we need to listen. We need to listen to understand feelings. And that's what this habit's about. And that's what we're going to do.
Here's the Carl Rogers quote.
Okay?
The only reality I can possibly know is the world as I perceive it. The only reality you can possibly know is the world as you perceive it. And the only certainty is that those worlds are different. There are as many real worlds as there are people. So why communicate? What is the purpose? Why do we communicate? Why do we listen?
To come up with one perception, to try to put them together to see if we're looking at the same thing in two different ways.
Okay, so to understand each other, huh? Okay, what else? Why else would we listen?
To understand where they're coming from.
To understand for you, to understand them,
For them to understand.
and for them to understand you.
It's interesting.
It's interesting. No, that's tremendous. It's interesting.
To make the other person feel valued.
That is something people typically don't think. To make the other person feel valued and appreciated. This particular quote by my brother Stephen, I think the deepest hunger. Now listen to this. This isn't a casual comment. The deepest hunger of the human soul is to be recognized, valued, appreciated, and understood. When you acknowledge others and adapt yourself in an effort to reach them, in effect you say to them, you matter, you're a person of worth. Look at that definition of family leadership, communicating the worth and potential so clearly that they begin to see it in themselves. They feel valued. They feel worthwhile. No matter how they may think about themselves, somebody believes in them. Let's test that out. Will you turn to page 32 in your guidebook and think in that bottom box, who made you feel valued? Think of that and put down 3 reasons why, 3 words why. Who made you feel valued? Come up with somebody, pick a specific person that made you feel valued and 3 words that describe why. You're putting down some ideas. I'm moving us a little forward, a little faster. How many, by interest of the group, how many put somebody down that was in your family? Look at that. It's typical of groups. It's about 70-80% that family influence. Will you, at your table, take about a minute and share why? What that person seemed to do that seemed to have such an empowering influence on you. Would you just share it at your table for a moment? Can we just take a moment to kind of moving on, share some of the reasons why, and you got to share that story, Carlos, would you?
Oh, my wife works in the school district, and she had a secretary who spoke primarily
Janet.
A custodian, and she spoke Chinese primarily, and her name was Alice. And Alice one day came up to Amy and thanked her because she says, "You see me." And Amy says, "What do you mean? I see you." She says, everybody in the district, because I don't speak English, doesn't talk to me, doesn't recognize me, doesn't really know who I am, but you see me. And that was, you value me as a person, not just because I work here, but I'm as a person. And that was really a great story.
That powerful. Yeah. What are some other things that you have? Why? What did they do? What did they do?
That's my advice.
Ask your advice, which is valuing you.
Yes.
What did they do? Jeff?
My sister, because she always saw me as competition, so if I wasn't worth anything, then she probably wouldn't have competed against me.
Okay. This Jeff is brilliant. He really is. Yeah, absolutely. What? Some others. What did they do?
They believe in you.
They believe in you. They affirm you. Can I just stop here and say this? In families, it's equal. It's equality. It's not superior subordinate. That's the reason why we don't have any ties or uniforms and so on like this. In family, everybody's equal. When there's inequality, superior subordinate, it's a tremendous barrier with family. It's not the nature of family. The nature of family, even though it's a child, the different roles, clearly, father, mother, brother, sister, etc., but the value, the intrinsic value of every person is of equal value.
Mother Teresa said, the greatest poverty in the world is the feeling of not being wanted. That's the greatest poverty. And when we listen with the intent to understand, we say, you matter to me. Your ideas matter to me. What you think matters to me. And I become vulnerable when I listen to you because you might change me. I listen to your ideas. That's very flattering to someone.
Turn
That
the
means a
page
lot.
over, and the upper right-hand side, it's like an iceberg. The skill of listening is 10%, but the 90% is that relationship, that attitude, that equality, that value, that intrinsic worth. That's the quality that draws connection, where people really seek to understand.
I want to share a personal story with you about listening. This means a lot to me. My father grew up on a small dairy farm. Small town, small dairy farm. And he was the youngest son. And by the time he was 14, his older brothers had either married or gone away to college. And he was left alone on the farm with his dad. He was big for his age and he was smart. And by the time he was 14, he could run the whole farm. And of course, his father knew that. So he gave him great responsibility. Now, my father worked side by side with his father on the farm, and they never talked. They never talked. Well, they talked about the work, but they didn't share their feelings and their heart. My father hated the farm. And when he was 18 years old, he left. He left the small town, he left the farm, and he left the family. And he never returned to any of them. I was my father's first child. And I wanted to know those people. I went back. Those people were good to their core. And my father was a good man. But they never knew each other. They never shared their hearts. They never shared their feelings. My grandmother died with a broken heart over my father. And he was a very good man. I think that's a tragedy. But it happens in our families, in marriages, where people don't know how to share their hearts with each other. They don't know how to share their feelings, and they're strangers. And they're lonely. So this habit is to try to help us be aware of that, to open up, to listen, to understand how other people feel. And John's going to tell you, it's only 10% skill. It's 90% your heart. I want to understand. What does it take to be a good listener? First of all, it takes time. Do you remember the story I told you about Susie, that her mother came home to get her, and then they spent time together, and she just listened? It wasn't efficient, but she had that special time with that busy mother, and she felt very valued. All right, it takes time. And listening is never convenient. Your daughter comes home from school, and you say, "How was school today, honey?" "Okay." "What'd you do?" "Nothing." "Who'd you eat lunch with?" "No, nobody." "How are you feeling?" "Okay." "Any homework?" "No." And then at 10:30 at night, when you're dead tired, and you go to say goodnight to her, she says, "Well, why don't you come in and sit down, Mom? Maybe we can talk." Or you get the feeling that she would open up to you in her room in the dark. Yeah. So it's never convenient. It's never easy. And listening takes time. Now, the second thing is about listening. There are some door slammers. That's what we call them. There's some things that we do that seem to slam the door on people so they stop opening up and sharing. Have you noticed there's anything you do or anyone else does that when you start to do this and someone's talking to you, they usually stop talking or stop sharing? Have you noticed anything? Are you just a bunch of perfect listeners? No. What are some things people do that make you feel like you're not going to keep talking?
Roll their eyes.
Roll their eyes? Okay, good. Yes, good. Body language. Pardon? Yawn. Okay, good. Body language.
They interrupt you.
They interrupt you. Excellent, Carlos. You're telling them something and they interrupt you. Oh, I know how you feel. Oh, this happened to me yesterday. Okay, good. Anything else? Veronica?
Well, I was going to say interrupt as
Yes.
well.
How about starting to work on their computer? How about answering a cell phone?
Walk away.
Walk away.
Turning your back on somebody.
Or turning your back on somebody. That'll do it.
That's not good.
That's right.
Just slam the door.
So these things we call door slammers. People are trying to open up to you and they tend to slam the door. Now, we have got them down to 3 things. And that is, when someone's trying to share with you, these are 3 things that slam the door. Number 1, we got them up here, when you start to criticize them. 2, when you start talking about yourself. "Oh, how are you feeling? You've got a cold? Oh my gosh, I've had a migraine for 3 days. I'm just feeling terrible." And you see a friend on the street. "Hey, I hear you're building this new house. How's it coming along?" "Oh, it's just terrible. I think my contractor's cheating me, and it's rained since we poured the foundation, and we're just having a terrible time." "Hey, listen, you know what? We built a house a year ago. It was the greatest experience of our lives. Our contractor came in under budget, and now we've got this nice house, and we just spend every weekend fixing it up. It's just the greatest thing. Hey, good to see you. Glad to hear about your house." Don't we do that? Yes. We start talking about ourselves. Or we start to give advice. "I told you if you didn't get that car lubed, this would happen. I told you." Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about those door slammers. Now, I want to give you a little story, a couple of stories, and I want you to listen and see if you hear any door slammers in this. All right? I'm going to just read this to you. I think this is the best way for me to get all this in. Now listen for any of these door slammers. Jim was very worried about his 15-year-old daughter, Elise. It was over an hour past her curfew when she finally showed up, slightly intoxicated. Jim was furious. "What were you thinking? Don't you have any idea what happens to girls your age who stay out late and get drunk? What will people think? Who are these people who dropped you off? I can't believe you've done this. What were you thinking?" Elise stood in the doorway and just covered her face with her hand. Her father shouted even louder, "What were you thinking?" Elise took a step forward and shouted back, "None of your business. It's my life." Jim reared back and slammed the door behind her. "Not as long as you live in this house. When I was your age, my father would have beaten me senseless if I'd come home like this. You sit down and let's talk about this." Jim sat in his recliner as Elise walked to the sofa across from him. "What made you think something so stupid was a good idea?" Jim barked. "You don't understand, Dad," she said. "What do you mean I don't understand?" "I understand that you've lost your mind," he shouted. "My advice, young lady, is that you get a different set of friends right away. Go to your room and think about what you've done. You can consider yourself grounded for the next month." Okay, hear any door slammers?
Sounds like the whole thing was a door.
Okay, all right. Now let's run through this one more time. Jim was very worried about his 15-year-old daughter, Elise. It was over an hour past her curfew when she finally showed up, slightly intoxicated. Jim was furious, but he was proactive, so he took a moment to gather his thoughts and form his approach. Honey, you look so sad. What happened tonight? Jim put his arm around his daughter and walked her to the sofa. Elise covered her face with her hand. Tears began to stream down Elise's face. When she stopped sobbing, Elise looked up at her father and said, "So stupid, Dad." "What's stupid, honey?" "The only way I can be part of this group, the popular group, is to drink and hang out where they do." She found it hard to look at her dad as she spoke. "I don't really care about drinking, and I don't like some of those older kids they hang out with. I just want to be popular. I just want them to like me. I'm tired of not fitting in." Jim looked at his daughter and said, "So you don't really want to drink, but you want to have some friends?" "Yeah, I don't fit in, Dad, but I know it's stupid, and I'm beginning to realize that drinking may not be the best way." Jim listened as Elise continued to talk about how she felt and what she wanted to do. Did he open the door? Yes. He opened the door, didn't he? First, he slammed the door. Second, he opened the door. We're going to see a video now, and it's like Groundhog Day. It's a fun video. And listen for those same three things in it: criticizing, giving advice, and talking about yourself. Okay?
And also on this video, what we contend, this habit 5 is called the magic habit. The full name of it is seek first to understand, then be understood. And people say, well, to understand another, it takes too much time. But if you don't ever get down to the core of a problem, the problem just keeps on persisting and persisting and persisting.
There once was a boss named Ray who had lots of things to say. But when listening was needed, poor Ray never heeded. And since no one could reach him, something else had to teach him, till Ray learned to hear the best way.
I know exactly what you're going through. I went through the same thing on the McMurdy project. You just gotta dig your heels in. No, I gotta run. Hi, honey. How was school? Really? Again? Well, if people are calling you names, it just shows how insecure they are. Sticks and stones, sweetie. Sticks and stones. We'll talk tonight. Bye. Diane. Yeah, I got your email. I totally agree. We got to present Shumway with a plan on how to stop the bleeding, how to get sales back up to where they were last quarter. Well, who knows? I'm sure we'll come up with something. Yep, bye. Bobby, my man, you got your game face on? I got 2 quart sides right here in my sweaty little fingers. What? Why not? Well, now I got to find somebody else to go with me. No, don't worry about it. I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, bye. Dang.
This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to
Hi,
talk.
Leo.
I need your help before you leave today.
Bye,
This
Leo.
Is a message from...
I'll see you tomorrow, Doris.
Oh, jeez,
Oh,
Doris.
sorry, Ray.
You
I
gotta
was just
watch
headed
where
down
you...
to the-
Hey, no biggie. Here, we'll settle out of court.
Hey.
Yo, Ray, we got mega problems with the phone system upgrade. I've been trying to reach you all afternoon.
Sounds to me like you need to take that bull by the horns, Leo. Have you talked to Lorraine about this?
Whoa! That's what I'm trying to tell you. Lorraine's got the subs doing the hard installs during office hours. It's a mess.
It's a mega mess, and mega messes need mega solutions. That's why I'm glad my man Leo's on the job.
I tried to tell Lorraine my plan so we could get this done without bogging down the system. Nobody's listening.
Didn't we have this problem 2 years ago?
Maybe.
And how did we solve it then? Let's not reinvent the wheel here. Have you talked to Lorraine about this? Lorraine. Lorraine? Leo. Leo, Lorraine, you two work this out. I know you can do it. Be the solution.
Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is
You need a vacation, Ray. Oh, jeez, Doris, not again.
Oh, sorry, Ray. I
No
was just
biggie.
headed-
Here.
Yo, Ray, we got mega problems with the phone system upgrade.
Didn't we just solve this problem?
Well, I've been trying to reach you all afternoon. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Lorraine's got the sub.
What's going on, Leo?
I tried to tell Lorraine my plan so we could pull this off without bogging down the system. Customers are getting busy signals and we're losing sales. You know, I happen to know this would never happen over at SkyTech System, where they actually listen to their employees.
Lorraine, Leo, you two work this out.
Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo.
Hey!
Yo, Ray.
This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today.
I need your help before you leave today. Before you leave today.
Yo, Ray, we got mega problems with the phone system upgrade.
We sure do, Leo. And here's what I think we should do this time. You see, this is a lot like a situation I had last year. You remember the Spackman project?
The Spackman project?
That's right, the Spackman project. Their whole system was perpetually bogged down. Sound familiar? And what did we do?
We hired a PR firm to tell them how great they were.
Exactly. Spackman Brothers. They take the time to do it right.
Ray, we have to talk.
Did you tell Lorraine how you felt?
Yeah, I tried, but
Is this the first run-in you and Lorraine have had?
No, but it may well be our last.
Look, don't you think this whole thing is less about phones and more about you and Lorraine? Look, here's Lorraine now. Let's ask her how she feels about all this. Lorraine. Leo. It's called communicating. Try it.
Ray, we have to talk. Ray, we have to talk. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. Ray.
Come on, Ray.
Nobody's listening.
Think, Ray.
Frankly, I've about had it.
Be the
This is a
solution.
message from
Be
Leo.
the
Ray, we
solution.
have to talk.
Be
I
the
need your help before
solution.
you leave today.
The solution.
Nobody's listening.
Leo.
Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo. Ray, we have to talk. I need your help before you leave today. This is a message from Leo.
Hey, Leo.
Ray, I was just trying to find you.
Yeah, I got your message. Do you mind if I sit down? Tell me what's going on.
Well, it's like this. Lorraine has got the subs doing all of the phone system upgrades during office hours. You know, we talked about it, and I told her I'd come up with a much better way to do it.
You seem pretty concerned.
I am concerned. You know, the whole phone system is overloaded. Customers are getting a busy signal. That's not good.
So, you're saying it's affecting our customers, and we're losing business because of it?
Exactly. We are losing business.
Whoa, that's big.
Frankly, I've about had it. You know? I feel like I'm spinning the proverbial wheel here. Like, I'm seriously considering the big skedaddle. Vamos. The whole greener pastures thing.
So you're upset people aren't utilizing your hard work, and you think this phone thing might be the last straw. Wow.
I want this to work out. I do. I know that Lorraine has spent months trying to schedule this phone system upgrade, but I spent 2 full days coming up with a really cool flow chart. It'll get her phone system upgrade done on schedule, but in off hours.
It sounds like you put a lot of time and effort into this, and you're frustrated Lorraine isn't utilizing it.
Totally. You know, I sent her a file a week ago, and she's totally ignored it. Unless she hasn't even opened it. Well, you'd think. Huh. Oh. What should we do now?
Do you mind if I take a look at your flow chart?
No, not at all.
Wow, you have put a lot of work into this. Not that I'm surprised. Show me how it works.
Okay. Everybody's lined up over here.
As I see it, you feel like you and Lorraine can work this out so she meets her deadline and we still keep the phone systems open, which means we make more sales, which means we make more money.
Exactly.
Which is something we can do to bring sales up to where they were last quarter. Leo, thanks for staying on top of this. Do you want me to talk to Lorraine for you?
No. I'll run down and I'll chat with her. See if she even got what I sent her.
Is there anything else I can do to help?
Nothing I can think of. Is there anything you need?
Actually, you know your little talking message head?
Yeah, the Leo head. Yeah, it's great, isn't it? What about it?
Oh, nothing. Yo, Leo, you wouldn't want to go to the game tonight, would you?
Me? Yeah. Do I have some time to go talk with Lorraine?
This is Ray. Hey, sweetie, can we talk tonight? I'm really in the... You sound upset. Tell me what's going on.
Before you criticize someone, you should walk a mile in their shoes. Then, if you do, you're a mile away. And you've got their shoes. No, really, here's another one.
So the open door policy is to listen with your eyes and your heart and your ears and reflect what other person is feeling and saying. Will you please turn to page 34? Now, this is very fundamental, I know that. But respond to what, fill this in. How can I reflect understanding? Listen first, talk second. Somebody says, I love you. Okay, fundamentally, you seem to feel what? Good? Happy? About what? About me, about something? Okay. Next, I don't want to talk about it. Seems like the only thing we do around here is argue. You seem to feel, what's the feeling? Upset?
Rejected.
Rejected?
Frustrated?
Frustrated? About? We don't know. Arguing? We don't know. Okay? Now, the point of this simple exercise is we want you to look for two things. But the first thing we want you to look for is the feeling tone. The 7-year-old says to his mother, I hate my teacher. You seem to feel what? What's this 7-year-old? What? Just guess.
Upset.
Angry, upset, something. About what? We don't know, do we? Teacher, school, and so on. Now, so what we're saying this, if you only remember one thing, it's this. When you're trying to listen, to understand, put a zipper on your mouth, an industrial-sized zipper. Otherwise, and listen for their feeling tone. Now, we're going to have you go ahead and do this, and we'll role play it.
Another one of our brilliant role plays.
Okay, but let me first set it up. In the Native American culture, the culture was this, that the person in the council that held the talking stick was the one that would speak. The others would relate and share what they were saying to their satisfaction. Once they felt understood, they'd hand it to the next person, and then the next person, and so on. So that's what we're going to do. We call this a talking stick, okay? So take a look at page 35, would you? Use the talking stick, and you'll do this in partners. You'll do this in twosomes, and if there's a threesome, let me take that person. I'll do it with them. Pair up with your partner. 1. Each of you take a moment and choose a topic you personally feel strongly about. For example, each person could choose a personal marriage or family issue, any issue you want. You might not want to make it too intimate or Pearl Harbor. Each of you has a topic in mind. Write that current challenge right now or opportunity in the first box below. In that first box, put something down individually, each one of you. Would you? Take a writing instrument and fill it out. Okay? Now, together, decide which of you will be the speaker and which will be the listener to begin. The speaker will hold the talking stick. The speaker explains the issue to the listener. Number 6, the listener should practice reflective listening. You seem to feel about. Avoiding door slammers. Rephrase the speaker's thoughts and feelings to his or her satisfaction. Once the speaker feels understood, the speaker hands the talking stick to the listener, and the process starts all over again. Now, let me say this. When Jane or I come to each other, what do you think that talking stick is code for? When she comes in and says, John, I got a talking stick issue. What's it code for?
Listening. I want you to listen.
I want you to listen. I want you to focus. I want you to give me eye contact. I want to be understood. That's what it is. It's a request to be understood. All right? And let me just give you the basic idea, because it relates to people's feeling worth and being understood. I'm going to give you a story. I climb out of the car at the Franklin Covey building in the parking lot. Another person climbs out and says, that darn wife of mine. Well, I could say, aren't women terrible or whatever? I reflect their feeling. You can feel the content. You can feel the emotion. You're upset. Walk along. Aren't you upset? You feel like I should be upset? You know what time of the year it is. It's significant. It's our evaluations. And you know, John, I'm the best employee Franklin Covey has. And I flunk those evaluations every time. So you're upset about evaluations, aren't you? What do you do to prepare? You want me to tell you what I do? I don't say any more than that. We get to the door and he says, John, you're the best friend I've ever had. And you give me the best advice I've ever had. Did I give him any advice? What I did is I peeled the onion. I take one layer. He didn't want to talk about his wife. His wife was just a symptom. He wanted to talk about his frustration, you with me, with evaluations. I gave him a chance to talk about it and think about it, and all of a sudden we got down to the core, the Groundhog Day core, the real understanding of what's going on. And once you hit that core, all of a sudden, you're the best person Nobody does this to me. Nobody listens to me. What was the phrase again, Carlos, that this lady said?
You're
You see me. You see me. That is the core we're after. So Jane and I are going to practice role play this for you just very kind of quickly. Okay. And this happens all the time for us.
John, I've got a talking stick issue.
Okay.
Now
and by the way, she never brings a talking stick in. We're just asking you to use this so that you remember it as the code.
Okay. I've got a talking stick issue, honey. Okay. Now our children are all married. They're gone. And I hear you early in the morning and late at night having little cell phone conversations with our girls. And you're talking and laughing and sharing wonderful things with them, and then you hang up and you don't even tell me. I feel like I'm out of the loop. You don't tell me anything about it. I don't know what's going on. I feel left out, and I feel mad.
So you're frustrated and kind of mad and upset at me that I take these telephone conversations from our daughters and so on and don't share them with you. And it makes you mad, and you want me to share them.
I think you've got it.
Do you feel like I understand you?
Yes, I think you've got it.
Okay.
Now, is there anything you want to talk to me about? Have you got any talking stick issues?
Well, you're working, I'm working, but when I get home at night, say 5:30, 6:30, I just love it when you're there. And we can eat dinner together, and we can talk together, and I can kind of share my life with you, and you can share your life with me. I so look forward to it.
So what I hear you say is, when you come home at work and I'm not there, it makes you feel bad because you feel like this is an important time we could share together and talk together. And you'd like to have me there when you get home from work.
I don't particularly feel bad. I just feel more empty, more like, gosh, I wish you wanted to be there or something like that.
Well, now that I know you want me to be there, I want to be there.
Okay.
I'll come.
All right.
I'll be there. And because if I don't, I think you feel sad if you come home to an empty house. You don't like it.
I really don't like it. Yeah, I think
you
that's
don't.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, now let me just stop and say this. We're not asking you in this little role play to solve the problem, but we are asking you to help the other person feel understood. Take the time to empathize. Listen to them. And can I just simply say this, that we did this years ago in a retreat one time. There were a couple of Native Americans there, and we said, okay, everybody get a talking stick. So they went out and cut branches, and they said, you're offending us. This isn't just understanding. This is also a symbol of respect. I respect you. Your worth, your etc. So that's what. So notice on these kind of page 35, your current challenge or opportunity. You've written that. Did you feel understood and respected? And then you fill that in. Your partner's current challenge and opportunity. You've got to ask them. Make sure they know. Did your partner feel understood and respected? Ask them. So about 3 or 4 minutes apiece to really empathize, or more, whatever you want. Any questions about the exercise? Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Let me ask you without checking it off, do you believe that if you seek understanding and the other person feels understood, that you are much deeper, closer to the core of issues and basic relationships than if you just kind of brush it off? How many really believe that? Can I check that thing? All right, I'm going to do that. All right. The other half, the full habit, as you know, is seek first to understand, then be understood. So it's a two-edged sword. It's both of you, not just a one. And would you turn to page 36? How can I talk so that I will be understood? Now, 3 steps of talking. Number 1, see that little chart? Control body language. And I think it's an obvious. Somebody's, flailing at you and they're, and etc. And all it does is bring fear, especially in a family. Fear is a real damaging thing in a family. You can have great influence, but then when they get to be teenagers, they just bust out. Because, so control your body language. Use appropriate words.
All right, we're going to discuss this for a minute. How can I talk so that I will be understood? How not to talk to others. We're going to talk about that for a minute. I'd like everyone in the room to close their eyes. Just close your eyes, would you? Thank you. Now, I want you to think of a time when someone said something to you that hurt you. It hurt your feelings and made you feel bad. I don't want to know what it was, but I want to know when it was. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, first grade, yesterday. When you can remember when someone said something to you that hurt you, I want you to keep your eyes closed and raise your hand. Okay? When someone said something, any time in your life that hurt your feelings. Okay, keep your eyes closed, raise your hand. All right, put your hands down, open your eyes. Now, I want you to just shout out when it was. Just shout out, when was it?
10 months ago.
Okay, thank you. When? Shout out.
2 years ago.
3 years ago.
2 years ago. 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
Last week.
Last week. Okay, good. Anyone else?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade. Good. All right. I can remember in junior high at what we called a slumber party. They called sleepovers now, when someone hurt my feelings. Yeah. Someone had the brilliant idea that we would each, I was probably 14, write down on a piece of paper what we didn't like about each other, and then put it in a hat. We'd each draw it out and read it. I remember. So, do we remember? We remember. Words matter. The way we talk to each other in families can either lift family members or can crush them. Our words in a family have the power to lift or to crush family members. I'm going to yell something at you, and I want you to tell me what it is I've said, okay? I'm so sick of cleaning up after you. I need help around here. You live like a pig. I can't believe I married you. All right, tell me the words you heard. Call them out. Live like a pig. What? I married you. Okay. What else?
I'm sick of.
Pardon?
I'm so sick of.
I'm so sick of. Okay, keep going. You haven't got it yet.
Regret.
Regret. What else? What else did I say? Pardon?
Married.
Married. What else? You haven't got it yet. Yes.
Frustration.
Pete. Frustration. What else?
Cleaning.
Pardon?
Did you say something about cleaning?
Cleaning? Yes. Very good, Jeff. You got it. This was a cry for help. I was asking for you to help me. I'll read it again. I'm so sick of cleaning up after you. I need help around here. You live like a pig. I can't believe I married you. Did you even hear? Did you even hear what I was saying? What happens when someone yells something like that at us? What do? Yeah, we turn them off. Our defenses grow. Yes, we do.
Yeah, the space gets small.
That's right. You didn't even hear what I was saying. All right. Let's look at page 36 in our books. The 3 steps of talking. Control body language, use appropriate words, speak in a soft voice. In the middle it says, what do I need to work on? The first thing that comes to your mind, write it, fill in right there.
Okay. On the bottom of 36, there are 6 questions that you can ask yourself. Sometimes you're upset and you don't know how to give feedback, and those questions. But the one that I like the best is 6. Am I using the I language versus the you language? I feel left out versus you are leaving me out. You are leaving me out. So, seek first to understand, then be understood. You want to know what the hand sign is? Aren't they fun? Seek first to understand.
Listen first.
Listen first. talk second. You've got 2 eyes, 2 ears, and 1 mouth. Act accordingly. Does that make sense? And so what I'd like you to do is to go to your calendar and on a sticky note, what I want you to put down there is talking stick, whatever that means. Do you want to practice it? Do you want to start it? Do you want to teach it? Empathic listening? What do you want to do? This is a huge thing. It can be practiced tonight. And then will you go to your line 5, habit 5, and put down listen first, talk second. That's what your commitment is on your flight plan, your family flight plan. And we've already agreed that if you do that, you're going to make good life choices. Let's take a break, okay? And let's take 10 minutes. And I've got a new little tool here for 15 minutes. Let's take 15 minutes. And at 13 minutes, I'm going to go. And then at 15 minutes, I'm going to go.
The train's taking off.
Train's taking off. See you about 3:30.
Thank you.